and I might spell this wrong. I'm not good at spelling. Why do you know that about me? I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I get all the ingredients right in a word, but I don't put them in the right order. So let me know if I spell this wrong. I always seem to get it wrong, and at one year I got it so wrong that, like, kids made sticky notes and put them up on my board to remind me how to spell the word. And the word I'm trying to spell is percent. It's like, it's E-R, right? Percent. I think my brain always wants to do present, and that's not right. Percent. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. We help each other here, right? We help each other. It's great. It's funny because President Mike is the English teacher, and I'm sitting here going, I can't spell. All right, so percent to decimal to fraction. Oh yeah, fractions. I always joke that everyone's always like, they panic when you say fraction in the classroom. So I always joke that you need to make sure not to say the F word in math class. Fraction. Because everyone loses it. But it's okay. I'm here. Hold my hand. We're going to get through this together. It's going to be okay. You can do hard things. You can use fractions. And I mean, like, even people who are, like, doing calculus, like, they see a fraction in their equation, and they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? There's the panic overcomes you, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. We're going to be okay. All right, so we're just going to start by breaking down the relationship between these things, okay? We're going to practice it in its simplest form, and then we're going to start raising the bar, like we do here. Because it's always good to go back to that simplest form to really remind you on why you're doing this and what's happening. Even if you're like, I'm in college and I'm doing like higher level math, bring it back down. Remember why. Because if you can remember why something's happening, why something works, then you can, oh, pretty lights. Thank you. You can bring it back up to that high thing, right? You can derive that yourself. So a lot of you on here have been suggesting for me to teach you like some root memorization things, and I'm never going to teach that on here. Because if you can remember your whys, you can get that. That's not the most important part of math, even if the school system stresses it. All right. So, percents, bringing it down to that basic form. We're going to just start with a little chart. I like to organize with a chart. So that's why. No other real reason. It just makes me feel warm and cozy inside. All right. So let's say I have, let's say I've got, we'll start it out with this. I've got 100%. Let's say I've got 100%. Well, if I'm saying I got 100% of something, what am I saying I have? If I have 100% of something, well, I got the whole darn thing. That's all of it, right? So if I was writing that as a decimal, yeah, awesome. It's 1. It's just, it's like this 1. And if I wanted to add the decimal to make me feel good, right? It's 1 whole. Kind of like that almost looks like a dollar amount, right? And a reason, you'll see why I wrote it this way in a bit. It's to drive a point home. But 100% is 1 whole. All right. Now, to write that as a fraction, if I'm saying 100% in this situation, a fraction is really always saying, and I'll write this kind of down at the bottom, a fraction is saying the highest amount possible, so like the total or the most. Like, what is this out of? The bottom of a fraction, and I'm sorry I kind of keep leaning over, my nose is running. It's my contacts. The fraction, the bottom of a fraction saying like, what do I have all together? What's the most? What's the whole thing? How much is it out of? Right? Yeah, someone said like 4 over 4, that's 1 whole. Awesome. So in this case, if I'm talking about percents, right, it's over 100, because the most I could have of a percent would be 100%. And then the top of a fraction is what you have. That's what you got. That's what you have. That's what you like. It's the amount. So in this case, I have 100 is the most of a percent I can have, because that's the whole darn thing. And then after that, in this situation, I have 100%. So I've got 100 over 100. Burp, 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 burp. So keep that in mind with fractions. And I've done some videos on fractions before, but I might need to do some more of those because they're not up on my YouTube channel because TikTok messed up my video. Oh no. So we'll probably do some of those later. But as we've talked about before, if you've been here, a fraction is just what you have over how much you could have altogether. The possibility. All right? Always keep that in mind. Some of your guys' comments are funny. And some of them aren't, but some of them are really funny. Ooh, thank you for the flowers, love. All right, so let's take a different percent. All right, we'll start to see a pattern. So if you're like kind of like what's happening right now, you'll see a pattern. We're going to just look for the pattern to start with to build that connection on what's happening. Squeak. All right, let's say I have 65%. All right, well, if I have 65%, what that's going to look like as a decimal is going to be 0.65. That's what it is. Notice how when I had 100%, it was 1.00. I've got like that 100 in there, you can see. And at 65, I've got that 65 in there right after the decimal. It's that easy. Wow. That's all. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. If you're getting it wrong, it's because you're overthinking it. Just don't overthink it. All right, so then as a fraction, that guy's going to be 65 over 100. That's all. It's that easy. It is. You were lied to when you were told math is hard. It's not that bad. All right, so let's do another one. Let's say I have 50%, okay? Let's say I have 50%. Well, you probably can guess what this guy's going to look like, right? That's going to be 0.50. Yeah? And then for my fraction, that's just going to be 50 over 100. Bam. Nice. All right? Yep, or you could write it as 1/2. For this situation, I'm going to keep it as that 50 over 100. We could have reduced all of these fractions, right? We totally could have. But we're just not for the sake of proving a point right now. But yes, you could simplify all of these. The only reason I'm keeping them like this is to show you a point, okay? But we will get to that. We will. So I'm glad you're thinking that way. All right. So now I'm going to take... sorry, one of my friends showed up and I'm like, oh, math time is fun time. It sure is. All right. So now we're going to do one that trips people up. And the reason why I did this guy to start, let's say I have 5%. Let's say I've got 5%. What's that going to be as a decimal? What is 5% going to be as a decimal? Oh, you guys are so smart and beautiful. Ooh, someone did a wrong answer, but it's my favorite wrong answer, and I was hoping someone would make this mistake. Yes, I'm seeing both of them that I wanted to see. There's a wrong answer that I was really hoping to see, and there's a right answer that I was hoping because I do hope you get the right answer. But it's always good to see those. You may not have heard this before, but there are some really great wrong answers that help us learn a lot more about what we're doing. And I always hope that these really great wrong answers come up because they point out something very important about the mathematics. And when you get it wrong, it's because you're doing something a little logical. You're doing something a little right. So always champion yourself for trying and getting a wrong answer and then taking that time to learn why you got it wrong. Like, don't stop when you get the wrong answer, but like, learn why you got it wrong, because we learn a lot from our mistakes. Successes, not so much. So here is my favorite wrong answer that I saw, okay? A couple people said this. So my question becomes, why is this wrong? Why is this so wrong? Oh, someone said it. It's 50, not 5. Notice how this is just this. I can make this guy into this by just adding that 0 on, right? And that's why I wanted to do those 2 in a row. That's just this, right? Sorry. So the real answer, and that's such a common mistake, so I'm really glad we could bring that out, is this. That's going to be the right decimal. Nice. And then that brings us back to our fraction, which was 5 over 100. We've got 5 out of 100. I'm going to give you guys a chance to write this down if you need to. I know some people really like taking notes with this. So if you want to write this down, take a moment, write it down. I'm going to have a drink of coffee. And then I'm going to give you guys I'm going to show you something, and then I'm going to give you guys some things to try. And then we're going to try it a little harder, okay? All right. So the thing I want you to try is, if anyone has a calculator next to them or with them, I want you to try this, okay? If you have a calculator, try this right now. If you want to go get a calculator, it's going to be helpful, okay? Here's what you're going to do if you have a calculator. I want you to take your calculator, and we'll start with this guy down here. I'm going to erase what I wrote here, just to have a little bit more room to write. I want you to try 5 divided by 100. So we're going to take that 5 over 100, and I want you, in your calculator, to type in 5 divided by 100. Numerator divided by denominator. Take a moment, type that in. Then tell me what you get. Tell me what your calculator tells you. Your calculator. Beautiful, my dears. My God, it was 0.05. If you typed it in right, excuse me, okay, you should get 0.05. What? What? That's how you find the decimal. Yeah, if you typed it in wrong, that's going to be a rough time. But if you typed it in right, if you typed in 5 divided by 100, you should get the decimal, right? And if we get the decimal, well, then we know the percent, because it's literally just that easy. It's just that easy. What? Oh my word. All right. So we're going to try some things then when the decimal, I'm going to try some things where I'm going to give you the fraction and then we're going to find the decimal and the percent, okay? Because it's really easy to see, right, what the fraction, if we have the fraction over 100, it's really easy to see what the decimal will be and what the percent will be. It's really, really easy to see that connection, right? But not all fractions will be out of 100. So, let's see how we can do them when we don't have 100 as our base, okay? Let's give it a try. I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you some fractions. I'm going to erase this, and you're going to fill out the rest of the chart, okay? We'll do the first one together, and then I'm going to give you time to fill out the rest of the chart. Okay. Remember, it's always numerator divided by denominator. Okay. All right, great. We're going to try these fractions and get these guys as decimals and percents, okay? So let's try this first guy, 2/8. So what I want you to do is in your calculator, do numerator, so do the top, divided by the denominator, the bottom, and see what you get. What is 2 divided by 8? Beautiful, beautiful. I'm seeing some beautiful things. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Your decimal should be 0.25. So your percent is 25. Excellent. You guys totally got this. Take a moment, see if you can fill in the rest of the chart, and then we'll go over it together, okay? Take a moment, see if you can get the rest of the chart, and then we're going to go through them together, okay? And some people, there's always someone who comes on here and asks what the target audience is or what the target grade level is. And I'm going to be honest, the target audience and target grade level, I never think about that. I never think about that. And I really hate talking about math in that way. Because that kind of gives this idea that we're supposed to know a certain amount by a certain amount of time. And that if you can't do it by that certain amount of time, then you're no good. And that is the craziest, weirdest thought that I've ever heard in the education system. Because none of us are the same. None of us move at the same pace. None of us have the same lives or the same circumstances. We're all going to learn in a different way, at a different pace. And honestly, all we have in this world is time. So it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what grade you are. It doesn't matter what the target level is. If this is helpful to you, it's helpful to you. And that's great. It's great to learn something at any age. It's great to have a refresher on why something is the way it is at any age, at any level. I always have people who feel like they need to get on their high horse about being in calculus, when really calculus isn't that hard of a concept. We just treat it like it is and going, well, can't you do something higher? And it's like, why can't this be valued? Why can't this be hard? Why can't this be good? Because honestly, you're going to use percentages, and as soon as we get done with this chart, we're going to start doing some real world problems and showing you how they apply. Because this is always going to be here. You run into percents every day of your life. And let's be honest, you run into fractions a lot more than you wish you would. This stuff's so useful. So let it be. Let it be. And let yourself learn however you learn. Candy. Crow coming on here telling me to drink water. But I got this coffee. I'll drink water in a little bit, hon, I promise. You guys are sweet. Hello. All right. Oh, well, it's a liquid. I'll give you guys a moment more, and then we'll start talking. Also, if there's something you guys want to see, please go to my page. I have a pinned video, and you can make suggestions on that video. Because if you're writing them in the chat, guess what? I'm not going to remember that. My memory's terrible. It's like a goldfish. Oh, it's so true. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, so what am I going to get if I do 1 divided by 3 in my calculator? What'd y'all get? 1 divided by 3. Yeah. Nice, 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 my dears. Ooh, I love that we've rounded. Nice. Nice. Repeating. All right. Yep, so if you typed it in, you probably got 0.33333, and then you were like, oh, it goes on forever. It goes on forever, Thistle. What are we doing? Oh. That was what I'm guessing your internal monologue was. And it does. For percents, we typically express them with just like within the whole number range, right? We typically do that. So we can round it, right? And if you don't remember, if you need a little reminder, when we round numbers, if it is 5 or higher, we round up. If it's 4 or lower, we round down. And when I say round down, what I mean is that I'm just getting rid of the extra. I'm just cutting it off and leaving it behind. I've had students in the past where they're like, round down. So I pick a lower number. And I'm like, no. You're just cutting off the extra. You're just trimming it. Whereas rounding up is you bring it up to the next number. I see why that can be confusing. But rounding down, remember, you just get rid of it. I like that motion. So we can take it to the two numbers and get rid of them, right? Because it's a 3, which is lower than 4. So it's going to be 33%. Now, some people wrote 33.3%, you're not wrong. That also works. You can have a decimal in your percent. That's okay. You won't see it that often in everyday life, but it's not wrong to say that. So if you wrote 33%, speaking is hard. If you wrote 33.3%, you are still correct. I'm going to write it as 33% because that's how we're typically going to see it. Cool. All right, so now let's get 4 over 6. What's 4 divided by 6 going to be? 4 divided by 6. What'd you get? What was 4 divided by 6 in your calculator? Awesome. That's okay. Just follow along then, honey. Nice, nice. I see some rounding happening. Love it. We love to see it. We love to see some correct rounding. Beautiful. Now, if you got 1.5, I see what you did. The reason why, and you're like, question mark, which I love. You're like, that doesn't feel right. You did an internal logic check, which is awesome. What you did, if you got 1.5, is you accidentally did 6 divided by 4, right? You accidentally did the bottom divided by the top instead of the top divided by the bottom. So that's why you're getting that bigger number. All right, so yes, it should be, when you typed it in your calculator, if you typed it in correctly, you should get 0.666666, and that one also went on and on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Oh my gosh. Wow. Pi isn't the only number that goes on forever. Many of them do. This one does. So we have to round if we want to write it. So awesome, I'm seeing people rounding it up. So since 6 is bigger than 5, I gotta round that situation up, right? So I am going to round it up to the next biggest number, which is 7. Beautiful. So that is just going to be 67%. Cool. All right, last one. Last one. 1 divided by 5. What am I going to get? Hi. Beautiful, 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 my dears. Ooh, I like that you added the 0 after. Nice, because that's going to make it easier to see. It's not necessary, but it does make it easier to see. Beautiful. You guys are so smart and wonderful. You should be so proud of yourself. All right, so it's going to be 0.2, right? And some people, that's what you would have gotten out of your calculator. Some people added the 0, right? And that just makes my percent a little easier to see, right? So my percent is going to be 20%, not 2%, not 2%. Think about it. Does 2% and 1/5 really seem right? Always internal logic check. Always do a gut check of if it feels right. Okay? It's going to be 20%. Sick. So cool. Much wow. I don't know why I'm talking like this. All right. Awesome. So now we're going to I'll give you guys a moment if you need to write this down. okay? Much wow. And then we're gonna do some word problems, okay? Or like, we call them word problems. I'm gonna call them situational problems, right? We're gonna get a situation, and we're gonna do the math. Yeah. Look, this is actual water. It's okay. It's okay. You're not gonna panic on me. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, UA online. Due to COVID, we have gone to distance teaching at UA. Welcome. Mike is now teaching math class. Don't question it too hard. Human problems to call them instead. But what if I want to write them about hamsters? What if I want to imagine I'm a hamster solving this problem? I don't know why, but that just makes it more delightful to me to imagine hamster people. Well, maybe they're wearing a little business suit, solving the problem. Whatever tricks you have to do in your brain to make it more delightful, you should do. I once, in a combinatorics class in my undergrad at college, rewrote all of my proofs to be in terms of distributing kittens, like passing kittens out to people, because it was a way more relaxing and fun way for me to think about it. Yeah, so whatever works for you. And then that poor professor, because like the rest of the class found out that's what I was doing. So then they started writing like intricate like stories with their proofs as well. So like one kid did his entirely on like if he was Santa Claus delivering presents throughout the night. And like the professor was like, why is this happening? I'm a bad influence. Anywho. Alright, let's get to some situational problems, shall we? First I'll erase the board. I don't know why I'm singing this, but it really fits the mic aesthetic, I feel. Also, while I erase this, here's a fun story for you. The last time I did this, which was about 2 weeks ago, taught you guys online. I try and do this about every other week. I had a student on Monday who, like, we were working on something, and he very politely raised his hand, and so I thought he had questions on the assignment, right? So, like, I make my way over to him. I'm like, okay, yeah, what's up? What can I help you with? And he just goes, I saw your live on Saturday, and you did a very good job. And I was just like, thanks, buddy. Yeah. I was thinking about going pro. Maybe teaching for a living, I was so taken back. I was like, you're watching your math teacher on the weekend and learning math with me on the weekend, but I have a tiny mustache on? I mean, if that's what's good for you. I guess I should feel honored because I never liked any of my math teachers enough to be like, I'm gonna watch them teach on a Saturday. So I'm just honored that you're all here and learning with me. And I hope you're having just a little bit of fun with it. Also, this makes me feel like Bill Nye the Science Guy of math, and that makes my heart happy. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm the Bill Nye the Science Guy of math, right? That's too high. That's too, like, I haven't earned that. I haven't. But he inspires me, is all I'm saying. Alright. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Aw, I'm glad you're having fun. Present Mike, the mathy guy. Math Mike. Oh, you guys are sweet. What did I do to deserve you? Alright. let's do this. So, often, just sit down here. I am teaching from the floor, if you haven't noticed. It's good for me, I guess. I often teach from the floor in my class, too. Often when we run into percents, right, is when we're buying things in the store. Or like right now, if you're an adult, or if you like have a job, maybe you're a teenager and you got your first job and you're realizing tax season's coming up and you're like, oh, I get a percentage taken out of my my paycheck, right? Like, what's happening with that? Like, they're taking stuff away, or I'm gonna get stuff back, and like it's confusing. It's a lot happening. And I know some people have asked me to teach about taxes, which I'm gonna just straight up say right now, I can't. Because while they deal with math, the more important thing about taxes is understanding the tax law, and where things need to go and everything due to the laws, and what breaks you get because of those laws in your specific area and country and all that good stuff. And I don't know the tax law. My gosh, can I count them numbers real good? But I don't know tax law, so I actually take my taxes to somebody, which is just what people do. So, unfortunately, I can't help you with taxes, but we can talk about what's happening with those percents so you can better understand the numbers behind them. Or, like, if you're going to a store and something's on a discount, how much are you going to pay? That's often really important to know before you hit the register, right? Because you're trying to figure out if it's in your budget or not, or if you brought enough money for it, or all that good stuff, right? What does that discount mean? What am I getting? So let's say you're a tax agent. Yeah. And then they're typically not calculating it. They're typing it into their computer, and the computer calculates it, right? Whoa. Yeah, it's kind of like a unit rate. How much? Yeah, let's talk about 20% off. Let's say you've got a 20% off coupon to something, or something says it's 20% off, right? Like, what does that mean? How do I calculate that, right? Luckily, now see, I was told growing up that I would never have a calculator in my pocket, so I had to learn my math facts. Luckily for you, you have a calculator in your pocket at all times. We really showed them. You can thank some angry millennial about that, okay? It was either an angry millennial or a Gen Xer that was angry about being told that so often that they're like, I'm going to put a calculator in everything. So now you never are with that one. All right, so let's say I've got a 20% off coupon. I'm a big, if you know me, you know that I really like to knit and all that stuff, so I'm just pretending that I'm at Joann Fabrics or Michael's, and I have a 20% off coupon. So let's say, I don't know, how much is my item gonna cost? Does anyone want to pick a number for me? How much is, like, my yarn gonna cost? You used to work at Joann's, you're like, I'm back. Okay, it costs $30. I saw $45. Oh, I love that you all are like, I've got a number. All right, sick. I think I'll start with a really easy one, and then we'll try a harder one with more cents and stuff, okay? Let's say that it's $10, because we can kind of, some of us might be able to do that in our head, so we might be able to see it better, and then we'll pick a harder number. So let's say it's going to cost $10. Thank you all. I'll take some of those numbers you threw out for the next one. Let's say that's my situation. I have 20% off. I have the item itself costs $10. So my question becomes, how much is it going to cost at the end, right? How much am I actually paying? So to calculate that, we got to figure out the discount, right? I'll show you two ways to calculate this. So I'm going to first start by going, well, what's my discount? How much are they taking away? Yep, some of you in your head, you got it. Beautiful. All right, so here's what I can do. If you can't do it in your head, if you don't know what you're going to pay, to figure out how much that discount is taking off, we're going to think about this 20% as a decimal. What is 20% as a decimal? What is 20% as a decimal? Beautiful, 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 my dears. It's that 0.2 or 0.20. Love it. So we're going to take that decimal, 0.2 or 0.20, and we're going to multiply it by 10. So take a moment. What is 0.20 times 10? What am I going to get? Nice. You get 2. 0.20 or 0.2 times 10 gives you 2. So that means your discount, it doesn't mean you're paying $2, okay? This is very important. This does not mean you're paying $2. It means my discount is $2. So 20% of $10 was 2. So I'm taking $2 off. So to get what my price is going to be, what I'm going to pay, I take that, okay, I have my $10 that it usually costs, minus my discount of $2, and I'm going to pay $8. Nice! That's where our decimals to percents come in. Whenever you see that percent, and yeah, there's going to be tax, which tax is going to be, you take the, let me get this thought out and then we'll talk about tax very briefly. But to figure out how much it's going to be off before taxes, right? Because sometimes some items are taxed, some items aren't taxed. That really, again, comes back to tax law and your state or country or whatever, right? And how much that tax is going to be determined by your state or country or whatever, because laws, and I don't know the laws in your area. Woo. But before tax, on items you're buying at the store, to get what you're going to pay, is you are going to take the percent off, turn it to a decimal, multiply that by what your item costs, that'll give you your discount, and you just subtract that from the price. Taxes are definitely a situation. Again, you just change it to a decimal, multiply it by the price, and then subtract that discount from your price. Neato. Yeah, that's another way you can think about it. So percent times R is what you're saying? Yeah, if you wanted to make this an equation to remind yourself, if your brain works in remembering equations, you could do it, I'm going to write it as D for decimal, but you could either do it as P, times your price, right? The decimal of your discount, or D for discount, times your price is going to give you that. And then you just subtract it. So let's try another one, okay? Oh, math. Let's try another one. We'll try it a little bit harder with more numbers happening, because usually our prices aren't nice, neat numbers, right? I did that one on purpose so that we could kind of just see in our heads what it would be, right? Yeah. We'll do another one together, and then I'll have you do one on your own. We'll check it, and that's going to be it for today, okay? Because I got to go eat lunch. Also, I very much believe that sometimes we need breaks. Just like when we're lifting weights in the gym. We don't want to do it for too long. We want to give ourselves a nice break before we keep going. All right. So, let's do this. You know, we often see 25% discounts, right? Let's do that. So, we'll do 25%. And, I don't know, let's say Mike's buying something new for the studio. He's buying a new microphone for the studio. It'll be, the price of the item will be, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out numbers. 45.76. $45.76. All right, let's say it's that. So what is my first step here? What's the first thing I'm going to do to figure out how much this is going to cost? I love that some of you are so quick with it. Awesome. I'm going to make it a decimal. I'm going to turn my percent to a decimal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we know how to do that. We practice this whole time, right? So we're going to do into a decimal, which is going to be 0.25. Great. It's a decimal. Awesome. Next step, people are already writing it in the chat. I'm going to multiply that by my price. So times 45.76. Take a moment, type that into your calculator. What do you get? 0.25 times 45.76. Awesome, 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 my dears. Nice job. Nice job. You are going to get 11.44. Is that how much I'm going to be spending? Okay, cool. Some people already have it in the chat. Nice. It's not what you're going to be spending, right? That's my discount. That's how much I'm taking off. Nice job. Yes. Oh, you guys are all so smart and beautiful. Yep, now you subtract it. That's what I'm going to take away from my price. So I'll do 45.76 minus that 11.44. And my total price is going to be 34.32. So that is what I'm going to end up spending. Nice. Awesome. You guys are doing so good. Right? It's not that bad. It's not that hard. You guys are so sweet. All right. So I'm going to give you a problem. You're going to try it on your own. And then we're going to go through it together. Okay? Okay. And remember, if you missed any of this, we're going to upload hopefully if my video recorded right, we're going to upload it to my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel in my link tree in my bio on my page, okay? And I'm streaming this on Twitch right now, so we'll see how that one turned out. If that even worked, because I'm not really watching it right now. I just set up the camera and we're hoping it's good. And if it's not, oh well, that means we tried and we learned something, right? And you don't learn anything if you don't try. All right. For this one, I'm going to try a weird percent. So let's try a weird percent. I don't know. We'll do... We'll do 53% for some reason. 99%, I like that. And we'll do, the price of the item is going to be, I don't know, 65.03. Take a moment, figure out what that guy's gonna be. How much am I going to pay? How much is this going to cost? Give it your best try, and we'll look it over together, okay? Remember, it's always better to try and be wrong than to do nothing. Because as I said before, we learn a lot from our mistakes. Successes, not so much. And also, your brain's going to remember it so much better, so much better, if you try something, even if it's wrong, and then you see the answer. Your brain will remember it so much better. So give it a try. Get as far as you can. Go far. I love that you tried. I also love that you gut checked and went, that's not right. Right? It's always good to gut check. Ooh, looks like someone did some estimation, which is nice. All right, let's give it a try. I'm seeing some answers come in and I'm loving it. I also, it might sound crazy, but I'm loving that I'm not seeing all of the right answer. I'm loving that people are getting it wrong and they're still throwing it out there, right? That's beautiful. And you should be very proud of yourself for trying it and being brave enough to throw your answer out there. Because we don't learn, we don't grow if we don't put ourselves out there and keep trying. So good for you. All right, first step, I turn this sucker to a decimal, right? That's going to be 0.53. Great. Now I'm going to multiply that by my price. 65.03. It's not wrong if you don't sing, but I'm just saying it does make it more correct if you do sing. Alright. I think I'm funny. What's 0.53 times 65.03. What's that going to be? What is 0.53 times 65.03? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people writing down 34.4659. All right. So, here's the thing though. What do I do with rounding? Since this guy is a 5, right, I'm going to round it up. So we're going to consider this to be 34.47. And just know that we're like a little off, right? Beautiful. And I'm rounding it to this guy because this is how we talk in American dollars, right? This is how we talk in American dollars, is it stops at the cents. So it's going to be that 34.47. 34.47. And I'm not done. Now I have to subtract, right? That's my discount. But to figure out what I'm paying, I've got to subtract it from my original amount. Subtract. Burp, 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 burp. Woo! All right. What am I going to get when I subtract? Sorry, I'm a little in the way. Beautiful, 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 my dears. Sparker's starting to die on me. I need to get a new one. That's how much you're going to pay. You guys are wonderful.